is Lovie coming back next year? And it's too early to say, but if he's going to be back, I definitely don't want him as a defensive coordinator as well. If he needs to be more of a figurehead, head coach only, and bring in a new defensive coordinator. And I was watching your show earlier today where you were talking about the differences in Chicago Bears defense when they had Ron Rivera for 3 weeks, then Lovie in his own, or 3 years. I'm sorry. 3 years, and then 3 years of himself and his guy, and then he brought Rod Marinelli in, and it was a drastic difference between from the 3 years that Lovie was manning it.
They were never in the top half.
Yeah, they dropped out compared to Ron Rivera and Rod Marinelli running things. So it just kind of makes me concerned. You see the same thing here. I think a lot of fans, including myself, were looking forward to this season, hoping that the defense would at least be a middle of the pack defense, right? And they're obviously not even close. The pass coverage is pretty solid, but the rest of the unit is just really bad. The front seven is really bad. And they're not even a middle of the pack defense. They're a back end of the defense, back end of the league. And so that just, do you bring Lovie back, or do you face that PR backlash of yet another one and done under Nick Caserio, especially under the circumstances that Lovie was hired under, with the lawsuit and the drastic change from McCown or Gannon or whoever they were going to go with before they shifted to Lovie Smith on a Sunday night at 10:30 p.m. when that Adam Schefter tweet came out. It just makes you wonder what direction will the team go. And if Lovie's going to stay, I can be sold on that, but it's got to be a new offensive coordinator. It's got to be a new defensive coordinator. Frank Ross has to stay, obviously, but that would kind of be my contention on the matter.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing that I think that shouldn't come into play is perception or PR, because I think now that Jack Easterby's gone, I do think a lot of the stuff that made this place, not completely be able to put the BS from the past in the rear view was because he was there. So I think because of that, because I did hear there was at least one GM that didn't want this job because Jack was here. Right. And McLean has said it on the air. I think he was from Seattle, whoever they interviewed from Seattle. So I've heard that, like that was on our show. So I'm not like breaking news there. So I do think the job is more appealing. And I think that if perception is something they're going to worry about, I think they're doing themselves a big disservice. Now, we can make the case for and we can make the case against. And I think both of us want to make it clear, Bill Belichick, Buddy Ryan, like no coach could make this defense really, really good. We agree on that, right?
Yeah, the personnel is not there, and not for the system that they're trying to run, at least.
Exactly. And that's my thing, is that even when they do have the personnel, I just don't think that Lovie's the one that can coach this team up. So you ask yourself the question, like, are they going to be ready next year to where if they do have a good offseason, they can be like, maybe the Giants or something like that and coach above what you think they should be? Like, can they coach up the players? Will they have a good enough team for that? I think it's possible. And if so, I just don't know that Lovie's the right guy for that. We know he's not long-term. So I don't know that he's the right guy for that. I can understand the other side of things where, you want to keep growing, you want to keep developing, you want to let the process play out, you want to give him more of a shot. But if I were Nick Caserio, I mean, it would definitely be a discussion. It would definitely be a discussion with everybody that I trust. We would get around and we would talk about pros of keeping Lovie, cons of keeping Lovie, where we are now compared to where we were when we hired him, all the differences, so that you can explain that, this is much different than when Deshaun Watson has ongoing legal negotiations, when Deshaun Watson wants to be traded, when Jack Easterby's still here, when the Flores lawsuit and everything is going on, when Josh McCown is being linked to us and all this stuff, and why this is much different. So I completely think that this is at least a discussion that's being had, especially if you're watching this team. If you're watching this team play and you're watching the way that things are playing out, I think this is at least a discussion to be had, regardless of how you feel about it.